So, what does the responsibility have to do with financial freedom? Well, maybe it's a lot more than what you think. Financial freedom is a state of being where a person is able to make decisions about their lives, their finances, without outside interference. You know, in the case of finance, this outside interference can be that of experts, brokers, fund managers. I see a lot of people are getting their financial advice from YouTube or Google or the media. Now, let's face it, this is where most people are getting their investment advice from. And maybe that is the reason why they're getting the poor results that they're getting. Why do they do that? It is because they do not have the investment skills to make informed decisions. That's the only reason. Now, it's not your fault, don't worry, because the financial system, the educational system will never teach you the skills to really learn how to, first of all, make the money, and secondly, to grow that money. So people are conditioned by the financial industry and system to rely on experts to tell them what they must do with their money, where they must invest, how they must do asset allocation, and all that nice stuff that they want to tell you. But the results are bad. Right. Now, because of this, 12 weeks ago, I took on a 500K challenge to prove that anyone that is willing to learn the wealth creator strategy or skills can outperform the best fund managers in the world by at least 100%. In fact, I'm going to show you that I'm going to do it with more than 1,000% over the course of 5 years. Now, as I'm shooting this video today, we are 12 weeks into the challenge, and the 500,000 is a little bit more than 1.07 million. That is about 113% in just 12 weeks. Now, the top 1% of fund managers over a 5-year period is going to get more or less this kind of result that we've been getting over 12 weeks. The best part, I think, about this is that my risk, the way that I structure it because of the knowledge, right, that I've got and the skills, was less than 100 Rand. I'm here in South Africa. By the way, that is about $7 for my international audience. And the principles that I'm teaching applies irrespective of what country you may be in. So if it's dollars or pounds or euro or rands, the principles will stay the same. Now, there's a specific reason why I'm limiting the risk, because risk is when you lose or can lose, or there's a probability of losing capital. But risk is when you do not know what you're doing. Therefore, I'm not going to risk 500,000 in order to outperform the best fund managers, because the risk is simply too high. Therefore, I have to rely on my skills, and this is what I want to share with you. So if you want to learn more about the 500K challenge and how it can help you to become a wealth creator, then please follow the link in the description area that you're going to find below this video. But of course, that is only if you are interested in doing so. So now, before we maybe talk about responsibility, I need to do perhaps the responsible thing, and that is to tell you that nothing, but absolutely nothing in this video is financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor or a planner, or I'm not giving advice. I'm sharing with you my life and what I'm doing. And the main reason or the main function of this channel is to educate you on how extremely powerful the wealth creator strategy is, and how you can apply it in your life in order to have a life of abundance. That's it. So, but you and only you can take the responsibility for learning how to apply this fabulous strategy in your life. That is, of course, if you want to get similar or even better results. And as you're going to find out in this video, you have to learn that. It's not going to happen by accident. You have to learn that. It means you have to take the responsibility. Now, if it's your first time here, my name is Dreyer. I'm the Chief Wealth Scientist here at the Wealth Creators Method. And the thing that makes my heart pump, in other words, that makes me tick, is wealth creation. So anything to do with wealth creation, to create, to grow, to protect, and even to enjoy your money in the right way, that's what this channel is about. So my mission with this channel is to help you to create, to grow, to protect, and to enjoy your wealth, and in the process to create high quality wealth creators content that anyone can understand. We have to make this as simple as we possibly can so that we can go and implement it. Now, if these are the videos that you demand, then please subscribe to this channel if you haven't done so. Ping that notification bell, join the Wealth Creators Band, and maybe give me a like, because that like is going to help the algorithm to spread the word so that more and more people can learn about this fabulous strategy, the Wealth Creator strategy. Now, let's start with today's topic. Have you ever taken the time to think about the importance and the impact of these two words? Be responsible. Now, in this lesson, that's what we're going to talk about. And one of the critical decisions that you must make to become massively, massively successful is this. The thing about successful people is that at one point in their lives, they all make the decision to stop making excuses and starting to take responsibility for their own action. In other words, they stop blaming other people, events, circumstances, and 100% face the consequences of the results that they were getting. And therefore they stop, and they decided basically to stop being a spectator in their own lives and taking charge. I see so many people, they give their money to someone else, and then you're out of that game. You can't play that game. In other words, now you become a spectator to your own money and what other people are doing. You can't take the responsibility. You can't take the responsibility to get more growth. You can't take the responsibility to lower the risk. You've got all the risk, but it is impossible to be in charge of your investment the moment that you start giving your money away. Right. So successful people made a conscious decision to change their destiny by taking their control, their financial control back. And that is exactly, by the way, what I did 12 weeks ago when I watched that YouTube video. Right. So I took on the responsibility of warning people about the dangers of giving their money to experts, thinking that the experts is going to help them to become rich. I've retired at 37. But the reason why I could do it was because I was taking responsibility, and I did take the responsibility to learn the skills. And this is what this channel is about. So the Wealth Creator strategy is mostly, if we really break it down, mostly about understanding and handling risk. In other words, managing that risk. Now, risk, if we break it down, it's not this volatility that everyone is going to tell you. Risk is very, very simple. If you do not know what you're doing, then you're taking the risk. And what do we do? The moment that you take your money and you give it to someone else, like in that challenge, then that person is at risk. And this is what I want to bring to your attention. You don't have to do anything that I'm telling you, but I feel that I have to do this because there's too many people that suffer simply because no one is prepared to tell this to you. So the moment that you give your money to a financial institution, a fund manager, advisor, to manage this money on your behalf, you are taking all the risk. So if you want to become financially free, let's say in 5 years' time, there's nothing more riskier that you can do. This is by far the riskiest thing. So in order to become financially free, there are 4 high-value skills. So we understand that there's risk. How do I offset risk? It's by knowing what I'm doing. And what do I need to do? There are 4 high-value financial skills that you must at least know of and then start to master in order to offset those financial risks, in other words, your investment risk. The first and foremost skill is what we call the high-value mental skill. It's the way that you think, your belief system, your value system around money. That is what we need to focus on. And this whole channel over the next 5 years is going to focus basically just on that. It's important to understand that being responsible isn't just something that you've got it or you haven't got it, right? You're not born with that. It is something that you can learn and perfect if you are, first of all, willing to learn that, and secondly, to work on that. In other words, to start practicing that. As human beings, we are born without any innate abilities, but through practice and determination, there's nothing that we cannot learn. We're not born with any skills. You do not come out of the womb and then say, okay, I'm a medical doctor or I can ride a bicycle or something. It is something that we need to learn and then practice. And the more you're going to practice it, the better you're going to become in that. So the more you're going to do something, of course, the better you're going to do, on condition that you do it in the right way. The great news that I want to share with you today is that all skills are teachable and learnable. And learning a new skill, at least to me, is one of the most exciting parts of the self-improvement journey that I've got, because my job is to become the best me that I can be. And I hope that that is yours as well. And that will apply in your finances, and that was the main reason why I could retire at 37. And I hope that you'll do something similar if you're not already on retirement or financially free in a lot less time. This is because all skills are attainable by using the right learning method. And this is where the Wealth Creator strategy comes in. As far as I know of, this is the best learning method that I know if you want to become a wealth creator. If you want to become a medical doctor, then there's another way to do that. But if you want to become a wealth creator in order to create, to grow, to protect, and to enjoy your wealth, there's only one way, and that is to become a wealth creator. And the strategy that we follow is the Wealth Creator strategy. So, if you don't mind, let's talk a little bit more about you. Here's a question. Have you made the decision? In other words, the previous lesson was about intent, about the goal. Have you made that decision to take responsibility for your life, and specifically for your financial success? That's where we start. If you haven't made a conscious decision to do that, it's not going to happen, my friend. And this is simply a yes or a no question. And the answer is clearly shown by your current results. So just by looking at what is happening in your life and what you've achieved, you can immediately see the amount of responsibility that you were prepared to take. Now, I see a lot of people, they fake success on the outside. You know, they've got the big house and the fancy car and the massive debt because they've got a great income. But it's easy to dodge your responsibilities, but you'll never ever in your life dodge the consequences of avoiding your responsibilities. A lot of people have a great standard of living, and it looks on the outside as if they are achieving and they are very, very successful. But when you measure when they retire or be financially free, you find out that it's not going to happen. You see, you just can't fight your current results. Results are the measurement to see if you are bluffing or if you're not bluffing in terms of your life. Because results are 100% always. It's 100% accurate reflection of your ability to take responsibility, and that is basically what the results are telling you. Okay, so far too many people have a go with the flow approach to the way that they invest their money. And then they've got literally the audacity to complain when things do not turn out their way. In other words, and I believe that to a certain extent, this is a reason why they give their money to financial experts in the industry, because then if things do not turn out, and I've seen this as a financial planner many, many years ago, where people will then come and say, yeah, but it's that person's fault, or it's his fault, or it's because of that advice that I've taken. No, that simply reflects that you've never taken responsibility. The truth is that you will never ever get ahead in life, my friend, if you do not first take responsibility for your time, for your money, for your mindsets. That is the way that we think, and for your life in general. There's no ways that things are going to happen unless you're prepared to take responsibility. If you don't take the responsibility for your own financial success, you are basically at the mercy of fate. So how do you know if you're taking responsibility for your life? It's very simple. You know if you're taking responsibility for your life when you can solve your own problems. You can only solve problems if you've got the skills. So therefore you have to take the responsibility to learn the skills. If you've got a problem, it means that you do not know how to solve that problem. That means you haven't got the skill. So what's one of the biggest financial problems of our time? Well, because 26 years ago, I was a financial planner. I could tell you that it is most people, when they get to retirement or close to retirement at age 60, they are not in a position to be financially free and to retire at their current standard of living. In other words, they have to lower that, and then all the excuses that go with that. But people are not in a position. Now, when you know that you won't be financially free, let's assume that you're taking you're 5 years from retirement, or you want to retire in 5 years' time. In other words, be financially free. If you know that this current growth that you're getting on your money is not going to help you to get there, then you have to take the responsibility to do something about it. You can't just give your responsibility away to the experts and hope that they're going to make you enough so that you can retire in 5 years. I mean, that is wishful thinking. You know that you are taking the responsibility when you set the goal with your deadline and then you achieve them. You know that you are taking responsibility when you gladly pay the price for your success. That is taking responsibility. There will be a price. I guarantee that to you. There's no ways that you're going to be successful by sitting on your backside and thinking that someone else is going to do. When you are looking for solutions to those obstacles, to the problem, instead of obsessing over those problems, you know that you're taking responsibility. Now, when you're doing your best, and that becomes a habit, it's not something that you reserve for a special occasion, you're taking responsibility. When you're putting the time and the effort to master your own thinking process, which is perhaps one of the most difficult processes in the world, and you therefore develop the skill necessary to have a happy, successful, and a fulfilling life, you know that you're taking responsibility. When you constantly exceed your expectation and when you exceed reality as it is, not as you would like it to be, in other words, that dream state that so people, one day I'm going to do this and one day I'm going to break through and one day, no, as it is today, because we can measure our success on a day-to-day basis. So when you do what you need to do, when you need to do it, that is what it takes to be responsible for your life. So to me, responsibility is a testimonial of character. When you do what you say that you're going to do, that is taking responsibility. That's why I'm giving feedback. It's now in week 12. I've taken the responsibility. I've said this is going to be what I'm going to do, and I'm doing that, and therefore I'm giving feedback. Right. When you are accountable for a specific outcome, that is taking responsibility. Now, every time that you set a goal and you don't take responsibility to achieve that, and every time that you make a promise and you don't keep the responsibility to keep it, and every time that you face an obstacle and you don't take the responsibility to overcome it, you are basically telling yourself, silently, of course, that you're a failure. So, why don't you commit to take responsibility for yourself in all aspects of creating the life that you want to live and to have that life of abundance? And you will not be able to do that, my friend, unfortunately. The moment that someone else must help you, like an expert, it's simply because you haven't taken the responsibility to learn how to do it yourself. So how do you make sure that you will achieve your financial goals? First of all, determine if you're ready to take the responsibility to achieve that goal. If not, don't go for it, but then don't bitch, moan and complain when you're not getting that you really want in your life. This means putting in place a plan of action to keep you on track with those goals. And you have to hold yourself accountable to meeting these goals within their deadlines and solving your problems and obstacles as they present themselves. Now, to become massively successful, you must take responsibility. You need to take responsibility. No one is going to do it for you. To be responsibility simply means to solve your own problems by gaining the skills and to stop blaming other people. To stop blaming, to stop making excuses and to do what needs to be done in the time that it needs to be done. So how on earth do you take the responsibility to become financially free in 5 years or less? Right, first of all, there's only 4 points that you need to know. First of all, figure out what on earth is the main problem. What's your main problem for not getting to retirement? For most people, of course, it's going to be that they're not getting enough growth on their money. That means they're going to work for their money for the rest of their lives, right? They've never learned that skill. Then secondly, determine why on earth is that a problem? If you do not know why, you will not be able to do something about it. And then find a solution, right? And then fourthly, now you start taking action in order to solve it by gaining the skills, applying those skills, look at the results, measure the results, because the moment that you measure the results, now you can manage that result. And there's a very simple process that we follow. We call it the formula for riches in order to do that step-by-step process to go through the Wealth Creators strategy. Right. So, and by the way, if you watch other videos and you attend my webinars, there are ways that you're going to get those that book, for example, as for free. So your commitment to taking responsibility is crucial to every success that you're going to experience in life. Not only the financial, we focus here more on the financial, but in all aspects of your life. So maybe if it's okay with you, let me show you how I'm taking the responsibility, because I see you as my accountability partner, because that's the reason why I'm prepared to do this on a regular basis over the next 5 years to give feedback. So how am I going to turn this 100 Rand basically into 20 million in 5 years? We started first of all to get to the 500,000. That's a step in between where I apply the wealth creator strategy, and that is to limit my risk, and then to get to 500,000. And now we're busy with the 500,000, and we're in week 12, as I've said. I'm taking responsibility to apply the wealth creator strategy to make this goal a reality. And then I'm following the steps. So how am I doing this? First of all, what's the main problem? The main problem is that I know that there's no ways that I'm going to give my responsibility away to experts, because that is what causes all the problems. Why not? In other words, why is it a problem? Simply because these experts cannot give me that I want. They cannot give me the growth that I need on 100 Rand to get to 20 million Rands here in South Africa. They simply cannot do that. How do I know this? I'm simply looking at their track record. There's no one on this earth, right? The best fund managers here in South Africa and overseas that I could see was in the vicinity of 27 to 30%. If you go to hedge fund managers, the best hedge fund manager over the last 5 years was in the vicinity of 33%, right? And that fund, by the way, is closed, and the person has retired, Jim Simons. Now, the third thing is the solution. What's the solution? I'm going to apply the wealth creator strategy. Why? I know because this thing I've done so many times, and there's a step-by-step method that I can follow. We call it the wealth creators method. That is what I'm going to do. I've done it in the past. I've done it to retire. I'm doing it every single time that I'm taking on a challenge. So the fourth one is then I'm taking action. So it's useless if I know all the stuff, but I don't apply it. And that's one of the reasons why I'm giving feedback. Now, the way that I do this planning that I've got the goal, okay, that's 5 years from now. And then I break it down into yearly goals. And then I break the yearly goals back to monthly, and then the monthly to weekly, the weekly to daily. I manage the daily and I give feedback weekly. And that is how I measure the progress, to see that I'm on track. If I'm not on track, I know that the problem lies within me and that I haven't got the skill set. Whatever the universe is going to throw at me, I know there's going to be difficult times coming up in the world in terms of the economy and what these people are planning for us. But irrespective of that, I'm taking charge of my own future. So please, if you found any value in this video, make sure to like it, right? Give me that thumb up. There's a little thumb. Click on that. That's going to help the algorithm in order to get this out to other people. And I will really, really appreciate that. This is going to help me that more and more people can follow this process, because I believe unconditionally that this is something that every single person should know. But they're not going to know it because the system will not allow that, because it's not in the interest of the system for you to know it. Right, so please help me to help other people if you want to, right? Also, if you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel by clicking that subscription button, and then go for that ping that bell icon. Make sure that all is activated, so that you'll be the first to know when the next training video is available. And I try to do this on at least a week-to-week basis. Also, let me know in the comments what you think and what your thoughts are around this be responsible. And is there a way that you can improve? And can you follow these 4 steps that I've just given you? And how do you think that is going to influence you and help you in order to achieve your goals? Remember, there's also that webinar. If you're interested, you'll find the link somewhere. Make sure to attend. I would love it to have you on board. And there's also a lot of free goodies that I'm giving away, so that you can use that in order to become more and more responsible. So thank you so much for watching. And then, of course, I'm going to see you in the next episode.